Hello and welcome. It is the completion of the 11th day of February 2020. My name is Derek and this is the Money Charts channel, although it would be the 12th day, most likely as I'm uploading it. It's 11:26 p.m. Eastern Time. All bets, trades of the like, that's within each's own risk and their own reward. This is about time, really. You shouldn't expect, oh yeah, this thing is just going to double in one day, do better than that, 150% move, yada yada. That's normal. It's normal to happen every now and again, more than once in a year you would think. And this market, since January of 2018, I'm going to use the Bitcoin price later on to determine the price time levels, especially with counter trend rallies and stuff like that, and a bit, but it's been very dry during the bear market from but mid-January, late January 2018, up until whenever the bottom happens to be. And you know what it looks like it's in, I think. We'll see. Within today's session, this thing at 9 o'clock in this morning today just shot up pretty high. I mean, 9:44, this thing was up at 350. It rose from the 200 level. And this is all it gave back. And that was it. I had a little bit of resistance as well. But as it managed to get above in here, this is supporting the area of resistance from before. Then it gets above it in here. And does it do it again? Well, this support, yes, of course it does. Here to here. And then it really does get going from this low, which occurred at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 1900 hours. I see a lot of this happen at the top of hours in a lot of markets. I don't know what it is. I think this might be an odd top of an hour, 1900. But I do see a lot of it start right at the exact number. Even in the stock market, maybe especially the stock market, like gold and silver and stuff like that. But that's not this video. That's precious metals and other stock market related. It's successfully corrected its move, of course, because when these moves happen, they're going to be real or they're going to fail. And the verdict is still not in whether there's going to be a real move or fail. Of course, within the intraday session, this move successfully corrected and has successfully had another leg higher. It has unsuccessfully came back to where it came from. And that's a good thing on a bullish level if it can manage to break out higher. It also means that if it doesn't leave this, if it leaves this support, I wonder where the next key leg I'll be looking for support is. It's obviously where I'm drawing this line. Switching it on to a more longer term, but still short term 1 hour time frame. We can see more on the move. This is 9 o'clock hour, up 67.15%. Typical. I mean, this is Hedera, HBAR. A lot of other markets show the exact same thing. When their day is ready, and multiple days out of how often is it supposed to happen? One of every how many days? 200, 250? And within stuff like this, is this just a start of something big to happen? Because that's really what the announcement is, and we're going to see that more and more as we keep lengthening out this time frame. I mean, before the fact, was there anything to indicate before this single hour that this was ready to get going? Sort of, but nothing strong. All we've seen in here was, okay, we were at this level of resistance. We'd had a very good and long extended correctionary phase that was successful, given this breakout of what at the time would have been 4 or so periods, 5 periods. You would have had 2 successful pause periods giving you optimism that it had the availability to go high. And then when it has availability to go high, oh, what could it do? Go 220, 240, 260, or 450? And don't remind me of 450. I lost out at 5% of a move because I got 420 compared to 449 when the high was 442. Meaning my sell order was 449. I just accepted 422, I think it was. Anyway. So with that being said, this is what I've been doing, selling this all day. And I'm looking at my Binance balances of what I own. I'm thinking, man, there's a lot of coins that are higher in value that kind of need to get off the exchange kind of deal. And, well, that's because I've been selling all day. And it's the 5 coins that I'm crossing this against. Because when everything else is just doing its normal thing, up 1%, down 3%, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing when this is having what's now riding on like 160% move that has been spanning thus far that of about 14 and a half hours. And we look at these on the 3 hour, this is an explosive move to say the least. Especially when we look at the size of the periods and how they change and go up, down, and huge, and extremely huge, of course, is where we're at now. And it's live at that, of course, ever since, or for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row with one small pause one at the 16 stamp for today's session. But first we have all of these little small ones here. And even in this, these little small ones in here, you can see are smaller compared to these. And then it increases in here, getting gradually larger. The correctionary move stayed on decent volatility in comparison to the volatility moves it has higher. Its next leg higher does so on good volatility. And then as it corrects, it does so with lower movements on its volatile moves, starting around in here. A small pickup, but not really here. And then most certainly smaller volatility in comparison to this. Maybe a little bit bigger than this one. And now we have all this. How long is this going to last for? We'll see. For me, I'm not going to be looking to sell again until, well, I got a sell order in here that's, I don't got to sell. Actually, I got all my sell orders that I have are largely larger than this number now. I'm probably not going to sell unless it goes to 470.40. It's like next in turn. Everything has been involved in 1 to 2 sell orders today, or 2 or 3, well, not 3. Anyway, let's look at this on the daily chart. This hit a bull market today. When we look at, and it did so many basis points ago. Why do I say that? I've talked about the 4 stages of trend over and over and over again. An obvious downtrend, obvious band flattening out. Establish resistance, come back to the band, take it. It's just another way of saying this successful correction was just a magnificent move, because it's, I mean, the length of this move, it's not. Sorry about that, because I was thinking before making this video, just an idea, and then, and especially if this situation happens, why wouldn't you do it? So I might as well explain it now. This is on tiny volume when you consider the length of this move in here, which makes me think it's something that I was thinking about but 10 minutes before the recording of this video, maybe 15 minutes before. If, say, I was a big game player in a market of some sort, pretty much like you're like the whale of a market, to say this one. Just assume I was, whichever in the case. I talk all about the buy low, sell high, buy on the way down. So the likelihood that I'd be buying a decent amount during this time frame is pretty good. Now, when you're looking to strategize mathematically how you're going to have these just big moves and try to get big maximum profits with the large numbers that you're playing with when you pretty much own the market, you got to play the time game for the most part. You're going to be the one that has to start the rally. There's nobody else that's going to do it when you're that whale. But one of the key things when it comes down to it is buying it up for as little as possible. At the same point, when you're managing your funds that you're allocating to buy, you realize you're going to have to spend so much of your Bitcoin and dollars and Ethereum or whatever things you buy it against. Most likely most of it Bitcoin and tethers, mostly Bitcoin. So you have to have enough of those funds available to be able to buy, have these days like today. But you're going to want to do it on a day of low volume. Meaning you want the ask order books to be very thin. And as time goes on, I don't know how you would work it out. Also, you want to find strategic ways that as it's buying up, you find other people that will buy it up with you. Because obviously, if these things are going to pump up, you know what's going to happen after the fact. It's going to go down. It's going to go down. Whether it tops right now near 4.5, or 500, or 600, 800, 1,000, 1,200, 2,000, 4,000, 5,000, 20,000, 61,000. Yeah, I mean, the number, who knows how big it's going to be. And I'm sort of sarcastically serious about like 50,000-ish area, because, well, I mean, that's only 110 times even from here, and only like 300 or 400 times from here. And I really mean that, because I've seen so many 3, 4, 5, 1,000x gains. I'm not saying, oh, I know for sure this is going to do it, and especially it's going to do it now, but I've seen it happen. I spent a lot of time in my life looking, well, my crypto career, we'll say the last few years, looking at historical data. I think it's very, very important. The more you the more you know about history, the better off that you're going to be. And then in this, it's a mathematical game. The more you know about the mathematics, again, the better off. And history states that these things are just going to have a continuous large volatility. It's going to have to come down, whether it's a real move or it's a not. And if this is a failed breakout, this is gone extreme how large this is. When I talk about a move being, I don't want it to be not too small, not too big, just right kind of deal. Well, mathematically, I kind of do want not too big, which it is, because as the mathematics work on the ratio trading that I do, I want to get the sellers, especially when I went through the last quarters of just buy of this coin. It's like, oh, it's been down more. When you go through December 22nd and December 23rd, I mean, those were days I bought this coin. And I got to presume again, December 30th, December 31st, it's like, buy. Okay, I got to get some more. And look at my ownership now. Well, my ownership now ain't like it used to be. And like I used to be is, well, this morning. And that's just how it goes. And I realized, okay, I could pull back. And if it does, then the trade-offs are going to be awesome for me. And mathematically, I'm not going to buy it until... short term, I don't even know if I'm going to buy at that 350 area. I mean, I didn't buy this pullback here because it only came 18 average of highs. And it didn't go back to where it came from. If it would have went to the 18 lows in that area, then yeah, I would have. I mean, it didn't even go to this level of resistance here. And that might be one of the big indicators too. Maybe this is the things you're looking for to get advantages. Notice the situation of what did not happen. And what did happen after it didn't happen. It did not even touch this exact number. Oftentimes, if it does damn good, it'll hit that number pretty much exact or a few satoshis below or something, and it won't go to the deep place impact, which the deep impact spot was like 144. Where it really came from was like 167, and the low in here was 177. So as you've seen it lifting higher, as you've seen it breaking resistance, was this situation that it didn't even go down even that minimum spot you'd expect to go to, a telltale sign that at least that the probability odds for an event of this kind of magnitude is higher than random law of average chance should justify itself to be, as in that same situation of a break of resistance, because this pullback was so thin. And but anyway, I'm just curious about those types of things. 13 minutes on this type of coin that, but it's been the story of the day. And I mean, we can see here 26%. Everything else is like just really doing its thing. Like everything else is like up 1% and change. That's pretty cool to see. I suppose, and my internet's been choppily off and on bad today, but it's a bit better right now. Okay. The setup looks good. I gotta think that if you're looking for risk-reward management, if you're trying to decide when to buy because it looks damn good, we're damn close, but it's not there. It's a good setup, though. And if you're just here, whatever, you don't got time, you got like a few hours, you're going to go to bed here. This is actually a daily time frame. Yeah, even if you're just going to bed, I mean, this thing it's live. It's ready to go. It's bullish. The way this is consolidated over time since this market rally top 3-day finish of the breakout from January 31st to February the 1st has been extremely productive. But getting above the 18 average of highs means it's getting above the upper end of this range. And the setup from where it's at given this, and given this, high reward. The likelihood we start to see it in the 92, 94. Good thing I bought some from HBAR today because it's on the list. Although this is next to be bought. Well, actually second next to be bought, I think. Or maybe next against HBAR. It's like next in turn, like Qs, if you will. And everything's going back in Q because it's kicking us. And this is conservative, this line that I'm drawing at 95 and even to the 10 handle. Or 1%. And I've seen this with like LITECOIN and Bitcoin Cash and really even all the majors. Every single one of them, and they're ready to go. That's what they do. They go for explosive style moves. That's just how the nature of this game works. We can see in here that, well, how long did it take to go from this low to this high? Well, we got December 14, we'll say, area to like April the 4th. So that would have been 3.5 months. Well, I see this low in here at like August. And really even from this high, but from this high in here, we're still talking June. So that's 2 months. And then from this high, 4 little. But that wasn't even that. That was a really grindingly long move because that move was slower than I thought it was going to be, given this. Well, this didn't count because it was just trying to get it here. But decent sized time and correction here. This was not that short. And this wasn't all that quick anyway. But big move here, big move here, big move here. After the correctionary phases that were a little extended. Not largely, but definitely not microscopic corrections either. Which is something that it has had like just many times when these things do get above the 18 average and have their moves. Not all of them are going to succeed. Attempt to get above here, it fails. Attempt to get above here, no go. Attempt to get above here, well, that one succeeded. Because we got above here, and technically speaking, I mean, I gotta think you became bullish in here, breaking this resistance. Maybe you say this was established resistance and this got you bullish, but whichever one it was, this has been making that pattern of higher lows. And as we play out now, this thing looks poised to me like it's ready to have a good, phenomenal breakout. Hopefully my internet's going to load this up fast enough, and it does. Man, this is poised even now in the hourly. Okay, let's just look at this. I mean, oh my goodness, wow, yeah, must hold area doesn't break. Okay, must hold area here was like, because here's the deal, we have the move from here to here. So be it. So what comes in here? That's normal. The fact that we have this here, that's fine, but we resist it, further support. Further resistance, further support. And we break below it. And we resist piercing above that support. And it breaks down here. It breaks down to where you expect it to go next to. This little key area here, this point, because that's just what it does normally. And then you have this. But just because it gets above 18 highs doesn't mean it's going to go higher. And then I literally mean that. But all this opportunity and here to break down below the lows didn't do it. But all the opportunity to break above the high. So it has to break the range one side or the other. And it did so with a failed breakout. And the failed breakout occurred because the level of resistance we had, then you had this. And then to even just amplify the situation even further, the preceding candle to that big one, because this one got up high. When you just look at the two candles in here, we went to this low. This is why it's a failed breakout, because this is that fast move lower. It's really as low as it gets, again, to that same key level from before. So this thing's supposed to break down at this stage. So here we are resisting the 18 lows. Yeah, as if it's going to go up higher. I mean, it's probability not. But if it does, watch it. It might be explosive. Oh, yeah, here we are. So it successfully holds on the 18 lows. And now we have the 19 timestamp tonight that gets above. And now we have these 3 periods, even 4 when you include this one in here. The last 4 has held and stayed above this area, has stayed in this congestion range that it did for a bit here after all of these failed move spots. Looking poised to me. Now, whether it does it now like an ASAP kind of level and we start filling this empty space in a retracement mode, or whether we come back and we higher low it, or we just come back down in here before the fact. It looks like either one is very probable right now. And I wouldn't be surprised waking up in the morning to see that this price would have a good chance of being a little bit higher. Man, I didn't expect to put this much time into Litecoin, but I haven't really looked at this much all day. I just really bought it when HBAR sold off, because it's up 26% right now. I think I talked about that earlier. I know I did. I was just being kind of an idiot right now. Tezos, that's what we're talking about. I just recently sold some of this for Bitcoin Cash. On the hourly term, it has been rocking the boat, doing well. I mean, when you have a bull market run like this, it's pretty good. And I could say, why would I? This is now. I mean, it's pretty starting to get later in the early stages of buying, isn't it? And I have to think it is, in that of one of the strategies of the market is buying as it barely breaks resistance. But I always hate it when it does it exactly like it is doing now, because it's well extended from the 18 average of highs. Really, from 3 key moments. One, from the leaving of this leaves the 18, it leaves resistance. It's a bigger size volatile move from all that preceded it. It was also the 5th green candle up in a row. There's only been 2 red ones since, and this one really doesn't even count. It's almost a break-even one, as is the green one after it, albeit it's 2. But would have been the weakest green candles since then. Like, this one kind of sucks compared to this and this and this and this and this. It's been well overextended. It did lift off from this February 8th session ago, but that's 5 periods ago now. It's well overextended. It's gotten above this level of resistance, but if I'm looking at the 3 bears in here, it's just passing the 2 small kind of deal of a move. But if it keeps going higher, I trade Teslas against other things, and I'll do just that. I'll be looking at Fibonacci 61. The must-hold area is pretty much 61.8% from the 1500 lows. I already pointed out before that breaking this resistance, I think its upside target is 4,000 Satoshi, where we should find some more longer intermediate term for this time frame level, or for the key high, key lows are. This is key low, this is key high, this is key low. Even though there's these lows and these high, they're within the trend. And then I still want to talk about the one more topic, because I usually forget I almost did forget this time. So I'm going to finish this off within this, and then after that. But anyway, so key low here. So now I think that the key high, there's a good chance it's going to be 4,000. If it's not 4,000, it could be piercing above like 45, 48, same deal, of course. And if we don't find resistance near 4,000 or 5,000, I mean, that could be like 7, 8, 9, 10,000 kind of deal, and pretty fast. It's not. I don't think it'd be favored to do so, but who knows, given how wild these things are, because of the topic that I'm going to be coming up next on, which is the crypto market in full. And, I haven't even talked about Bitcoin, and that's really the chart to show it with. So, what's Bitcoin doing? 10,003. Bitcoin has... I love the fact that it's really as free market as... at least as I see it anyway. As the daily term goes for Bitcoin, these higher highs and higher lows, well, we got these lows here near 65. And this is, I thought this was going to go a bit lower, and it didn't. But anyway, it's not the first, or probably even the second time I thought that with even Bitcoin, because that was the case months ago back at 3,200 as well. 31. I thought it was going to go like 3,020. Actually, I thought it was even going to pierce below it way back when. Anyway, on this market, we got this low here. Then we got the lows on early January, near that of piercing below 7. Then we have the second week of January lows at 77. Then we have the lows from the end of the third week, start of the fourth week of January at 82. And then we have the February 4th lows at around noticeably north of 9. Lows and highs are known after the fact. We might have this low here at, let's look in here at 9,700 here as well. Maybe. I mean, it could pull back maybe down to 94. We could still make a higher low and meet up with the 18 lows. That's why I say after the fact we'll know it. But as it goes, as far as market conditions are concerned, and I might as well do analysis on the weekly time frame and then do it there. I'm looking at a cup and handle, just looking at this quickly. At least the formations of such, because just by looking as it is, there's the thing. There's a pullback. There's their neckline here, getting above it. Yeah, but that's as I've been saying the whole time. Getting above this level of resistance, it's fast, and you can call it the inverted head and shoulders pattern, as dysfunctional as the head and left shoulder really can be. Left shoulder, that's for the dynamics. Like, why does a left inverted head and shoulders kick ass? Like, why is it a pattern that you want to give it real precedence to? And well, the reasons for what it does is doing the exact same. So this would be left head. This would be R for the right. Up in here, you'd have a neckline, and this would be that original resistance that it had from the break of this support. So this is that level. And if you want to say the neckline is here, it's still got to clearly break above it. It's piercing above is in the same ballpark, whatever. And it's still got a decent ways to go to get to that high of 13,005. It's like 3,000, so that's 30+%. But you really think that this is a big move going to here on a pattern of this? I mean, one way I've learned of doing this is just to measure the size of the move. And I mean, if you have the exact same sort of move, this was like going from 3,000. That's like 7x. So 7x on the neckline of this at 12 would be like close to 100K. But anyway, that's like whatever. I mean, as if that's important. It might be, but it also might not. Crypto markets. So I don't care about 2014 and 15 on this. Back in 2017, and for me, and I want to do the 3-day chart for this because I'm going from March the 1st of 2017 to current. And on March the 17th, altcoins, or even really February 25th, 24th area, altcoins were getting their ass destroyed. It was bad. But that all changed then. It was good timing for me to be able to just get in, literally, because I started trading on like this day here. And Bitcoin, of course, it was already doing well, but it continued an uptrend. Now, its big resistance of 1,200 is big to know, because that was the recent high that it had a Coons age ago. Right in here, as we can see, this was the high from 2013 end of year. So when it got above that, that's when those glory days happened. Well, I'm going to give you a spoiler. Our current high is 20,000. That's not a spoiler. And I'll let you know, spoiler, if it breaks above the 20,000, probably look about the same. Now, that is a spoiler. Okay. So with that being said, the markets were phenomenally amazing against Bitcoin from, we'll even say February 26th or so, to May into June. Each altcoin had different stories. Some were really early bloomers, and this coincided with this market having this leg higher to the all-time highs then of 3,000. Markets on altcoins against Bitcoin had a counter-trend rally within this run, or counter-trend sell-off. A counter-trend move might be a better way of stating it, as it And that really lasted up until Bitcoin Cash's birthday, literally, August the 1st. So we'll move to August the 1st. And August the 1st, Bitcoin's about to break resistance. So this entire run, Bitcoin is breaking even against the dollar. Altcoins are losing against Bitcoin, which means they were kicking ass against Bitcoin and against the dollar phenomenally, but they were retracing against the dollar down through price, where Bitcoin was retracing through time. And then this happened. Oh, it rallied higher. August 26th. Well, other coins did pretty okay, but it was really from this point on up until December the 10th. Altcoins were very choppy, having up and down moves. I'm trying to think of when they had the run, but there was a time frame where they just had a good 4, 5, 6 week run as well in the autumn of 2017. But it was overall, it was not so good. Meaning, when it got to December 7th, 8th, 9th, it was looking pretty bad. From there, all altcoins were at lows, the lower end of their ranges, the all-time lows or against Bitcoin. And that was from December the 10th-ish or so. Litecoin started off with the staples 1-2 days early, which was really phenomenal for me as a ratio trader back then on Litecoin. But it was them starting it off. And Bitcoin here hit its all-time high on December the 15th. I should have that memorized, but I guess I didn't really care about the days why I don't. Like, literally, I don't care that day. No, I just know it's in December. So December 15th, it's hit its high, 19,666. We'll say 20K. And that was like when the altcoin big move, the big 1 month run was just in its first week. And its final weeks would have been roughly at around in here. So it meant, as a trader, that when you have your altcoins at phenomenally large levels against Bitcoin, and you're looking to profit take, you were getting Bitcoin at like 13, 14, 15, maybe you're at 16,000. And a lot of people who are heavy into altcoins would have been feeling some stress when they were seeing the Bitcoin going up because their coins weren't. And then they're seeing it go to all-time highs, but they caught up, basically, is what happened. So then we have the April Fool's rally. So now this is the bear market pretty much has been going on with altcoins pretty much this entire run. April 1st to April 30th, it's sick. Pretty much almost everything are on those exact days for the most part. It's pretty sick. But everything started then, and it was phenomenal moves altcoins had. Now for this, Bitcoin rallied, altcoins rallied all together. But then altcoins getting destroyed. Volatility. The volatility was low here. Volatility movements on altcoins as well. This was a big move on Bitcoins. Altcoins didn't take the hit too bad. I thought they were going to get destroyed on this down move, and they really didn't. And then in January, they started to, within this run, altcoins had a good run from January up until April, this breakout, up until April 1st. When this happened, April 1st breakout for Bitcoin, when it hit its bottom, this entire run, altcoins have been not doing quite as well. But lately, over this run that we've been having, they have been doing good. Thus, if you start to see Bitcoin having like this break above the 15, 16, I think it's wild card to how it might play out. It wouldn't surprise me to the fullest if we go old school. Bitcoin has these days 25, 30% up, 40% up against the dollar. And then now you look at your Bitcoin exchange and you see what everything's doing. Everything's down 15, 20, 30% against Bitcoin. Meaning they're up like 7, 9, 15% against the dollar. That wouldn't surprise me at all. It also, the opposite of or what we've seen back in 2017, April, May, June of 2017 wouldn't surprise me from here at this point on either. Where this Bitcoin goes up to let's just say it goes up to 16,000, 17,000, has like a 60% move, and everything else is like up like 200, 300, 400%. This coin's up 2x against Bitcoin. This is up 300% against Bitcoin. This one's only up 60% against Bitcoin. It's a laggard. Stuff like that. That would not surprise me either. But whatever happens, as a trader myself, I'll just react to whatever does occur. And then whatever the best mathematical decision happens to be, is what I'm going to do. And always for me, risk reward management is always job number one.